Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be figuring out what happens when your trader camp gets raided in Red Dead Online. So when Rockstar first introduced the trader role, this is like one of the few things they said was going to happen. And it had a lot of people kind of cringing, like, ooh, I don't know if that's going to be good or not. So the very first time they teased the trader, Rockstar says, as business flourishes and your presence becomes known in the market, your competition may grow jealous of your success. So keep an eye out for raids on your camp. And as your trade grows, you might considering purchasing a camp dog that are not only great companions for all players, but players can teach their dogs to warn of incoming attacks. So they sort of lightly touched that there was going to be raids. Now, this is not the first time we have seen this in a Rockstar multiplayer game. In Grand Theft Auto Online, your various businesses, like your biker MC stuff, can be raided as well. And essentially what happens is as long as you're in an online session and you're playing as a CEO or an MC member, all of a sudden you could get raided. And basically what happens is it prevents you from doing anything else in the game, and you can either choose to attend to that raid or you can ignore it. Now, even though it's technically optional to deal with the raid, it is certainly in your best interest because in Grand Theft Auto Online, if you do not stop the raid from happening, you will lose all of your stock and your business will be shut down and you will have to reopen it. So essentially, it's a huge pain in the butt, and it basically makes you lose time, money, and effort. So a lot of people were worried that it would be the same way in Red Dead Online. And to a degree, it's kind of similar, but Rockstar have really learned their lesson here, which is quite nice. So you might be wondering, how do raids actually happen? Well, for starters, you, of course, have to have your camp set up as a trader. So if you have not gone down the trader role, then you actually don't have to worry about these raids because that obviously won't happen. You can still get a camp dog for your camp. The raids just won't occur. So I'm sure most of you guys that are still watching this video are a trader. In fact, I'm sure most people in general have unlocked all three paths. They've at least started the trader, collector, and bounty hunter. That's what I've done. I'm sure that's what many of you guys have done, since there really isn't like much of an entry fee as far as going down each path. So once you've set up Cripps Trading Company, and once that's good to go, you then have to reach a certain threshold of goods. Now, at this point in time, I think the amount is unknown, but there have been multiple people that have reported that once they have reached 25 goods, which is approximately 1/4 of the amount of goods that you can produce, that is when raids started to occur. A lot of people have also been wondering, do you have to reach a certain level of the trader? The answer to that is no. I've seen reports of players being level 15. I've also seen reports of players being level 3, like just starting. And as you guys can kind of see here, I have 100 goods, so I'm totally maxed out. So at this point in time, I would have been susceptible to raids actually occurring. And I'm sure this is obvious, but you also have to be in the session for the raid to occur. Like, Rockstar isn't going to screw you over where if you log off and you don't play for a day, then a raid could happen, and if you're not online, you don't have the ability to defend yourself. That will never be the case. You have to be in a online session in order for the raid to occur. So now that we've talked about how raids actually begin, let's take a look at what they ultimately look like. So here's what happens. It's really just a simple notification that you get on your screen that says a raid is happening on your camp. In fact, the exact wording is camp raid, defend your camp from being raided. And when that happens, your camp's white flag will be lowered, meaning that your camp is unprotected. Now, in the bottom, it will say defend your goods. And essentially, your goods is like one duffel bag that you can see there. To me, this is a little bit confusing because as Cripps starts making all the supplies, you can actually see the supplies like start to build and grow in your campsite. Like, it'll be this giant pile of like animal skins and stuff like that. And it does actually look really cool, but apparently that's not what these NPCs are after. They're after this little like duffel bag full of, I guess, your goods and supplies. And you essentially just have to defend that. Now, what happens next is there's roughly going to be about like 6 to 10 NPCs that are going to try to invade your camp. And what you have to do is basically just kill them off. And they are so easy to get rid of. Like, they really don't even put up all that much of a fight. And if you are able to fend all of them off, it should say, Mission Pass, Camp Raid, the camp was defended. And you don't really get a reward for that. You just don't lose any of your stock. And what's pretty funny is Crips will actually help you out along the way. I don't know where he gets that gun, but he'll actually start shooting at the NPCs that try and raid your camp too. So overall, Crips pretty helpful, even if he hates dogs for whatever reason. Have you heard that dialogue that happens when you pet your dog at your camp? Crips will always say something like, you know, super sassy, or like, he can't believe you're petting a dog. I don't know like what his history is, but at least during the raids, he's pretty helpful. And once the raid is successfully completed, what will happen from there is your camp's white flag will be re-raised, and you will be able to defend yourself normally. So after that, you're basically free to do whatever you want. If you defended it successfully, you actually don't lose any stock. Now, as you guys saw in that instance, you can be at your camp and raids will occur. So you might be wondering, well, what happens if you're not at your camp? How do you get there? So in Grand Theft Auto Online, you had to either drive, fly, or do whatever you could to get to your business location. Well, in Red Dead Online, because you're not able to, transport yourself so quickly, they actually give you the option to fast travel back to your camp by holding down Y or triangle. So if you're far away, you'll be able to fast travel back to your camp in order to defend it. That's pretty cool that Rockstar doesn't make you like trek across the entire map or fast travel from city to city in order to get back to your campsite. Now, you might also be wondering, well, what happens if you are unable to defend your campsite? What happens? Well, since the trader role is a little bit different than GTA Online businesses, it doesn't function exactly the same way. Like, your camp doesn't get shut down, and you don't lose all of your stock. You only lose a portion of it. Now, that amount is still unknown. I think it's a percentage of how many goods you have. Like, for example, if you had 50 goods, they might take, 25 or 30%. I'm not sure what the amount is. I just know that it's been different each time that I've seen it. So I think it does depend on how many goods you have. And I should clarify that that's what those NPCs are actually taking. They're taking the goods that have already been produced. They're not taking the materials, and they're not taking the production that you can actually get for Crips. The only thing that will be removed by the NPCs is the goods. And building off of that, it's NPCs that are raiding your camp. This event that occurs is not like an open invitation for all the other players in the lobby to go steal your stuff. No, that's not how it works. That's not the case. It will only be NPCs that you will ultimately have to deal with. And another thing that I have noticed that have made these raids a lot better than how they occur in Grand Theft Auto Online is they seem to occur a lot less often. They're pretty rare, in fact. And if you do have that canine dog companion upgrade, you'll be notified of the raid a lot earlier, which means you'll be able to stop them super easily. It's kind of like the security upgrade that you could get for things like your bunker and biker businesses in Grand Theft Auto Online, except in my opinion, it actually works really well. So man's best friend is also your trader business best friend here, as that little guy can really help in terms of stopping these raids from doing real bad damage to you. So all in all, are raids something you have to deal with in Red Dead Online? The answer is yes. There's something that you just can't ignore. Otherwise, you are going to lose your goods, which is obviously just a waste of money, a waste of time, waste of energy and effort. But are they incredibly easy to deal with? The answer is yes. I think Rockstar learned their lesson from Grand Theft Auto Online and how frustrating those raids could be. And instead, they kind of made them a fun part of having to be a trader. And another fun thing you can do is once you're done killing all those people, loot them. They're probably going to have some collectibles on them. They might have some tonics, or might have some things like gun oil or ammunition. So overall, it could actually be pretty productive, and it really doesn't cost you really anything other than your quick time and effort, really less than like a minute or 2 minutes in order to get the raid over with. So hopefully that answers all of your questions about your campsite being raided in Red Dead Online, how frequently it happens, what you have to have in order for it to be raided, and sort of the difficulty of each one, which it really isn't all that hard at all. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below, though. Has your campsite been raided yet in Red Dead Online? And if so, how'd you deal with it? What happened? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe if you guys are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5 videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube, it just doesn't work. And if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.